TV. On TV.
Here on Your TV and tomorrow night's primetime lineup, in a feature-length drama, a local amateur dramatic production reveals a backstage world of intrigue, passion and gossip, and a whole new meaning to the term corpsing. Midsummer Murder stars John Nettles and is tomorrow night at 8, and following that there's more zany clips from world television on the Clive James Show at 10. Back to tonight, our movie Murder Between Friends follows ITN and the UTV Live headlines up next.
Now a powerful combination of germ-killing bleach and fresh fragrance in one block. Send in the experts, Harvick.
The police have 390 speed detection devices on Northern Ireland's roads. So, if you speed, you're sure to be sorry.
Wise up. Slow down. Expect the unexpected.
Death by dangerous driving, 10 years in prison.
And now, small-size Pringles, stacked full of chips for when you're on the go. So, when you can't stop, you can still pop.
When a husband has an affair with someone, some people find comfort in the church. This woman, however, found nothing but a cold wall of silence. That's because the other woman is a man, and that man is a Catholic priest. To read the rest of this explosive story, this Sunday you simply gotta get a life.
What makes our loyalty card so special? You use it on all our own branded goods, including fresh fruit and vegetables. When you do, it will earn you an amazing 5 pence on every £1 you spend. And it's the only loyalty card that earns you cash. The dividend card from the Co-op. Start earning today.
My best friend's wedding.
I'm a busy girl. I've got 4 days to break up a wedding and steal the bride's fellow.
Be my maid of honor.
What? George, she's toast.
Julia Roberts, Dermot Mulrooney, and Cameron Diaz.
Michael!
She's from New York. Ah.
My best friend's wedding. See it first when you rent it at Extravision.
Fruitful is full of the taste of sun-ripened fruit
and crunchy golden whole wheat. It tastes raisin bone, banana bone, coconut and papaya bone. Fruitful, so full of taste, and from now on, we're gonna wake up to a fruitful day.
Fruitful from shredded wheat. Wake up to a fruitful day.
What do you like in a woman, Griff? Well, in a man, I like the type who's firm on the outside, but soft and yielding on the inside. Like this, Whisper Gold here.
Yes. Luscious Whisper chocolate with an irresistible layer of golden caramel.
You've got away with words, Griff.
And you got away with my Whisper. Whisper Gold from Cadbury's. Have you heard the latest Whisper?
What is it? What's this loose? It's late lunch. It's late lunch. It's hey. It's yeah. Break get some chat, and funky music too. With your hostesses,
life without football.
And here's a great chance for the Italians. It's 2-0 to Middlesbrough.
Looks like trouble for Vieira.
If you're looking for the football, it's on UTV. The Coca-Cola Cup final, Middlesbrough versus Chelsea. Sunday, 11:05, UTV.
Has made it 1-0.
From the studios of ITN, the news and sport with Carol Barnes and Graham Miller.
Good evening. Welcome to the programme. The headlines tonight. A fan is stabbed to death as violence erupts at a football ground. The murder of ex-RUC officer Cyril Stewart. The INLA say they did it.
And in sport, celebrations for the Light Blues as Cambridge win a record boat race.
A football fan was stabbed and killed tonight after violence broke out at a match between Fulham and Gillingham. It happened during scuffles outside Gillingham's ground after the match, the worst of several incidents at football grounds around the country today. Home Secretary Jack Straw said he deplored such mindless hooliganism. Helen Wright reports.
Police have tonight begun a murder inquiry after the Fulham fan, a young man only in his 20s, was killed in a brawl outside Gillingham's ground. Officers say as many as 50 or 60 people could have been involved.
Fans left the stadium and it appears a fight took place in Priestfield Road outside the stadium, culminating in a young white male in his mid-20s being assaulted and subsequently dying at the scene.
The trouble is said to have started towards the end of this match. One fan said opposing supporters were shouting abuse at each other, another that security was poor. Later, one man told a radio phone-in that Fulham supporters managed to get in among home fans.
Just after the second goal, it looked like a few Fulham fans rushed into the Gillingham bit. I don't know how they got through the gate, but they seemed to go, you know, they were immediately adjacent to one another. No steward stopping them.
As the club tonight came to terms with this incident on its doorstep, the Home Secretary said he utterly deplored any mindless hooliganism, adding these events will serve only to increase the determination of the football authorities, the police and the government to rid the game of the problem. Doctors at this hospital have tonight also treated two fans hurt at the same game, a game whose tragic outcome has shocked the whole football community. Helen Wright, ITN.
Prime Minister has promised to get more involved in the Northern Ireland peace process after the murder of a retired RUC officer in Armagh. The Republican INLA say they shot Cyril Stewart. The Northern Ireland Secretary said tonight the terrorists wouldn't be allowed to get away with it. Neil Connery reports from Armagh.
Outside a supermarket in Armagh, the city's people have spent today expressing their sympathy as the family of Northern Ireland's latest victim try to face up to a life extinguished by terrorists. Cyril Stewart was 52 and a retired RUC reserve constable. Ill health forced him to leave the force a year ago. Last night, as he and his wife finished shopping, two masked men walked up to the couple and opened fire at point-blank range. One senior RUC officer said it was a savage and brutal act carried out by people whose only agenda was death and destruction. Condemning the murder, the Northern Ireland Secretary said politics would not be defeated by violence.
The determination of the Taoiseach from the Republic and the Prime Minister that talked again today is to be very sure that these groups that are intent, very few, very small, intent on destroying the talks process are not allowed to do so. We're not going to give them their way.
But one loyalist politician said attempts to stop retaliation were growing more difficult.
Loyalists are quite angry about what's going on, and you know, sooner or later there will be a straw that'll break a camel's back. I wouldn't like to suggest what that would be, or if it'll be this one.
With the deadline for a political settlement just weeks away, the search for peace is now even more intense. Neil Connery, ITN, Armagh.
In an unprecedented move, the Christian Brothers religious order is to publish an apology tomorrow for years of physical and sexual abuse inflicted in its Catholic schools and orphanages. Half-page advertisements will appear in Irish newspapers. A spokesman said tonight it was a painful admission for the price it had to pay for reconciliation. Tory activists threw their support behind William Hague today and his plans for reforming and modernising the party. In return, he told the Conservative Central Councillor in Harrogate that he would use their support to unite the party through strong leadership. Here's our political correspondent, Harry Smith.
is 110,165.
A thumping majority of 96% voted in favour of the reforms, but only a third of party members returned their ballot papers. But that didn't stop William Hague claiming a mandate for change and promising a new style of leadership which will unite the party and the nation.
Now we must renew the great tradition of one nation conservatism. One nation has never been the property of left or right. Uniting our party and our country, one nation is not a type of conservatism. It is conservatism.
The reforms mean future leaders will be elected by all the party members, not just MPs. And MPs themselves will have a new code of ethics in a bid to avoid the sleaze headlines which bedevilled the last government. But not all the activists at today's conference were happy.
It was unnecessary to do it this quickly. There has been completely inadequate time to consider many of the details, and particularly the new party constitution.
Mr. Hague got the customary standing ovation. His reforms will face their first real test with the local elections in May. Harry Smith, ITN.
About 11,000 people marched through London today in support of the legalisation of cannabis. It was the biggest demonstration of its kind for 30 years. Many campaigners were openly smoking cannabis in spite of police warnings. Only 2 were arrested. The government insists it won't change the law, but one Labour MP turned up to oppose his party's stand.
We must take that trade out of the hands of criminals and establish it as they have in Holland with businessmen who can be licensed, controlled, regulated.
The funerals of 3 more victims of the school shootings in Arkansas took place today. Hundreds of mourners attended separate services for Stephanie Johnson and Brittany Varner and their English teacher Shannon Wright. She died shielding another pupil from the bullets. President Clinton visited the South African township of Soweto today. He laid a wreath at the memorial for a 13-year-old boy who was one of the first of hundreds of black people to be killed while protesting against apartheid. And a Los Angeles hospital is at the center of a police investigation tonight after claims that one of its staff has admitted killing up to 50 terminally ill patients. The man allegedly told an officer he'd given them lethal injections. Now, it's been a troubled day for sport. With more news, here's Graham Miller.
After the fatal stabbing at Gillingham, the Football Association also looks certain to hold an inquiry into another incident today. A series of pitch invasions marred Barnsley's Premiership game with Liverpool, in which 3 Barnsley players were sent off. The match was delayed for 5 minutes in the second half, as referee Gary Willard was led off the pitch by police for his own protection after fans tried to attack the official. Darren Sheridan and Chris Morgan were shown the red card, along with Darren Barnard, which prompted the pitch invasions. Meanwhile, Manchester United put their championship hopes back on track with their first win since the end of February. Goals from Ronnie Johnson and Paul Scholes earned them a hard-fought victory over Wimbledon. Arsenal, who haven't lost in the league this year, kept up the pressure on United. Dennis Bergkamp got the only goal against Sheffield Wednesday, his 19th of the season, but he'll miss the next 3 matches because of suspension. United remain 6 points clear of Arsenal, who still have those 3 games in hand. The big match in Scotland ended in stalemate, as Premier Division leaders Celtic were held to a goalless draw by second-place Hearts at Parkhead. Rangers are now just a point adrift in third after 2 goals from Ali McCoist helped them to victory at Dunfermline. Crowd violence also spoiled Rugby League's top match, the Challenge Cup semi-final between Sheffield Eagles and Salford. The Rugby Football League are to hold an inquiry after referee Stuart Cummings was knocked to the ground as spectators ran onto the pitch at the end of the match, which Sheffield won 22 points to 18. One supporter was arrested and is being questioned by police. Rugby Union, Wasps and Saracens are through to the final of the Tetley Bitter Cup. Wasps beat Sale 15 points to 9. Saracens brushed aside Northampton 25-10. Cambridge have won the 144th University Boat Race in the fastest time ever recorded. The Light Blues smashed the existing record by 26 seconds. It was their 6th consecutive victory. Will Walden watched the race.
Oxford hadn't won this race since 1992, and with Cambridge fielding the tallest and the heaviest crew in boat race history, few gave Oxford a chance. With the early advantage of rowing on the Middlesex side of the river, Oxford's Dark Blue 8 needed to take the lead quickly. It didn't happen. Cambridge stayed in touch, and inevitably, as both crews fought for a better line, the boats collided. For several seconds, blades continued to snag before the referee separated the crews. As they passed under Hammersmith Bridge, Cambridge's power was beginning to tell, and they were soon pulling away. By the final bend, Cambridge had rowed clear of their lighter opponents. Oxford's year-long preparation left in Cambridge's wake. And at the finish, Cambridge had their 6th consecutive victory, 26 seconds inside the old record time.
It was a tremendous race. We got away, there was a clash, and we just went. We did a flyer and took the advantage of our bend.
And as well as the record time, Alistair Potts made his own little piece of history. The first Cox ever to guide his university to victory in men's, women's and reserve boat races. Will Walden, ITN Sport, Mortlake.
Motor racing and reigning world champion Jacques Villeneuve could only qualify in 10th place for tomorrow's Brazilian Grand Prix in Interlagos. The Canadian driver won here last year, but in today's pre-race qualifying session, Villeneuve spun his car before going on to finish well behind the McLaren pair of Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard.
Now tonight's winning national lottery numbers, they are 11, 13, 23, 28, 29 and 37. The bonus number is 8. One lucky winner will receive just over £7 million. Finally, don't forget to put your clocks forward tonight. British summertime begins at 2 a.m. Clocks move ahead an hour, which means an hour's less sleep. And that's the news tonight. From Graham and me and the ITN weekend team, good night.
Good night.
Hello there. We've already seen some rain in the northwest this evening, and here's the reason why. Our Met Office wind flow chart highlights this weather front on the scene, responsible for that rain. And in fact, by tomorrow, that will still be very much in evidence, still giving some rain to western parts, but also dragging up warmer air from the south, and so this warm spell of weather continues. Now back to tonight, and we've got some bits and pieces of drizzle in the far northwest. Elsewhere, it's a case of well-broken cloud, leading to some mist and fog patches forming later on in the night. So going into tomorrow morning on a misty, murky note, it soon clears and England and Wales become drier as well as brighter. Then we've some showery outbreaks just sneaking into the far southwest later in the morning. Western fringes are always cloudier in nature, and we've some rain around there in Northern Ireland as well as southwestern Scotland. During the course of the afternoon, there's pushes across into other parts of Scotland, becoming patchy in nature in eastern Scotland, and we've just a little bit of drizzle getting into western coasts of Wales as well. With our temperatures tomorrow, warm inland, 17 to 63, cooler in the damper west and on the North Sea coast. That's all from me.
Power Gen, generating electricity whatever the weather.